We are back with some breaking news out of Chicago. Department of Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem was in that city earlier today as ICE continues its escalating operation on the ground there. Let's get more on this from NBC News senior Homeland Security correspondent Julia Ainsley. Julia, tell us about Secretary Noem's visit to Chicago this morning.
Well, it was brief, Anna. She was in and out really before anyone knew she was there. We understand she didn't take press with her. This was her response to a death last Friday where an immigrant who was being arrested by ICE drove away, dragging an officer, injuring him, but he remained in stable condition at the hospital. The officers then fired at the suspect and killed him. She said she went out to see the brave men and women of ICE who are increasing operations in Chicago. Of course, the mayor there says he wants a fuller investigation into what happened there. ICE telling us they do not have body camera footage of that incident. But Anna, to put this in larger context, we expect arrest of immigrants in Chicago to increase over the coming days, not only because Noem's visit signifies that, but also because a man named Greg Bovino, who came from the Border Patrol sector down in Texas, up to L.A. to oversee those operations in June, has now landed in Chicago to oversee an increase in arrests both by Border Patrol and of ICE in the Chicago area. Remember, the plans at first were to focus on that city, send in the National Guard. They, at this point, have called off the National Guard from being sent there because the governor resisted it. But they do plan to increase ICE operations there in the coming days, Anna.
Also, the president signed an order related to the deployment of National Guard to Memphis today, deployment that city leaders aren't happy about. Any sense of a timeline?
That seems to be the pivot. He announced yesterday this Memphis Safe Task Force where he wants to send in the National Guard and work with local leaders to keep crime down. One of the people who was standing right behind him yesterday was the governor of the state, saying he welcomed that. The mayor has said he's not happy about the National Guard going into the city and says that crime there is at a 25-year low. But Trump continued to repeat stats that show that they do still have high crime. He compared it to other cities and their per capita rates. Take a listen to what he said.
I'm signing a presidential memorandum to establish the Memphis Safe Task Force, and it's very important because of the crime that's going on, not only in Memphis, in many cities, and we're going to take care of all of them, step by step, just like we did in D.C. This task force will be a replica of our extraordinarily successful efforts here, and you'll see it's a lot of the same thing, although the numbers here are really something. They're really bad.
This is a test in a lot of ways, Anna, to see how far the president is going to continue to go. He, of course, met resistance in California, where the governor there said he did not want National Guard in L.A. He had the ability to deploy the National Guard in D.C. because he has jurisdiction in the capital city. But in this case, he has a cooperative governor, not a cooperative mayor. It'll be interesting to see how they work with local law enforcement, because at the end of the day, Anna, it's only local cops who can actually arrest people. National Guard can go do a show of force. He's also sending in other law enforcement agencies from the Justice Department and DHS. And so that's the city we're watching next.
Julia Ainsley, thanks for staying on it.